So I thought I'd make a quick video on what tools I use. One is a table saw. Boy, you use it all the time. What are you going to do? Yes, you can use like a little tabletop one. I suppose that would work. This is a Home Depot one. I like ones with like a big, thick steel. So I use this as like a worktop too. I mean, it's great. I would advise people to get a nice, big, thick, strong tape, just tape measure. If you were crazy enough, I mean, stupid enough, I mean, if you were willing enough to do this job. So, a nice light belt sander. This was like $30, $40. That's fine. A nice orbital sander. That's a nice thing to have. A nice jigsaw. This is just indispensable. What did we do before they came up with this? It just vibrates back and forth and gives you a nice smooth, clean cut and right next to wood. Fantastic. Circular saw, I don't really use it that much. I use the jigsaw most of the time, or I'll use the big saw. What I do with big sheets of plywood is I'll cut it to rough size with the jigsaw. It's almost as fast as the bigger saw, and then I get precise with it over here, so get it nice and square, and that seems to be the best for me. Just framing square, indispensable. Shop vac, of course. Glasses, yes. I use this on the wiring all the time. I've got two basically. One is for a smaller wire, and one is for bigger cables. So that puts a pretty big staple out there. So that's just so much easier than trying to run all the little wire holders. Foam, I got it. It's just indispensable. Just turpentine, that's nice. You know, I didn't use this as much as I thought I would. I used it a little bit on the last van, but God, it's so rare I use it. Wood putty, of course. Varathane, yeah. Snacks, yes. Different kinds of stains and that kind of thing, of course. Two good lithium powered drills. One's a dedicated impact drill, which works great, and one you can kind of put in a different size drills into it and that kind of thing. I just heat shrink all the cables with heat shrink tubing. Nice things to persuade things to go into place. Drills, whatever. Little clamps like this are just so nice to just hold things while you work with it. The scissors. I've not used a tool belt that much really. I've got this, but I've not really used it much. It's just a battery powered sawzall. The jigsaw does everything. You really don't need that. Sometimes if it's pretty stinky in the van and you're in a tight space, man, I like something that you can not have your eyes and nose exposed to some of the solvents. Once they dry, I don't notice them at all, but when I'm there inside the van, sometimes it bugs me. One thing I use all the time is a basic staple nail gun. This is a Bosch magnesium, I don't know, it doesn't have a name on it, but I believe it's 7/32 wide. So it just shoots these staples at 1.5 inch, 18 gauge, 7/32. That's a pretty nice thing to shoot, and it'll go all the way down to 1 to 1/2 inch. So this is what I use to shoot on 1/4 inch plywood, or to shoot on the pine boards that I put on the very top of it. Stuff that I'll probably send back. Great. Lots of self-tapping metal screws that I use for different stuff. These are great. These are 1 inch waffle wafer head screws. Nice. I've used biscuits a lot to join two pieces of wood together. That takes a special plate joiner, which most people wouldn't want to buy, and I don't think you really need it. You could just use screws, or if you get creative, you can use really long staples. And of course, an air compressor to run the staple gun. That's a nice thing to have. I've got this big wheel, which kind of, it does work nice in that you can roll it up really fast. Just an assortment of little screwdrivers and stuff. You know, you don't need them all. Just one good flat screwdriver, one good Phillips head, some good scissors. No, a nice glass of wine in the evening is essential. Essential. Oh, and this is fabulous. If you have the means, I highly recommend picking one up. It's like $30. And what it does is it crimps on all the pieces. So if you look over here, these are all of my cable lugs. So it just fits into there, and then it will crimp that down. Now you can do that with solder. What a pain. This is maybe a minute or less to do each lug. And those are pretty big lugs, man. That's a lot of solder to just fill that up with. So I would, if you're going to do this kind of stuff, a good crimper is fantastic. A headlamp of some sort, you've got to get it. Lots of dust masks. I use them all the time, as you can see. Boy, it's pretty dusty in there, and you don't want to be breathing all that stuff, and it's not good for you, and blah, blah, blah. It's good just not to breathe all that junk. A 4-foot level, that's nice. A 2-foot level. A 6-foot level is beautiful if you've got one. I used that mainly for finding the level on the van floor, and also when I was trying to level up the walls to see if it was straight that way. So that was super nice. You could do it with a straight piece of wood too, but you know. So those were my thoughts on what tools I use. It really doesn't take many big, complicated tools. It just takes a lot of patience. Bye-bye.